we know that we're supposed to come in and get our teeth cleaned twice a year by a dental hygienist such as yourself. But why? If we're brushing at home twice a day and, you know, we're flossing and doing all the good stuff that we're supposed to, why do we need to come and see you?
Well, I think a lot of times people don't realize that even if they're brushing twice a day, taking care of their teeth, there's still going to be areas that you're going to miss. Sometimes we are in a rush and we'll miss areas, or even just genetically people will build up plaque faster than others. So we recommend coming in at least every 6 months to get a cleaning and have all of your teeth checked out. There's other factors that can cause staining, like smoking, drinking coffee, drinking tea, that need to be cleaned off as well. Right. And then also it's good to come and check for any cavities, decay. Some people are higher prone to decay.
Through genetics
or even diet, lots of sugar, soda, things like that that are harmful to the teeth.
But what if you get people in that haven't been into the dentist for a long time?
Yeah, we do all types of cleanings. We have a laser. We can do laser treatment and laser cleanings for those that might have periodontal disease, where there's some bone loss, they have buildup underneath the gums. And then we can get you numb for those procedures so you're completely comfortable. We do all sorts of restorative work. We do anything. Dr. Hurst does anything and everything. So
he does, and he has a really well-staffed office like yourself, and also the latest in technology. I think we can't stress that really enough, that Dr. Hurst is always going back to school, learning new techniques. He really does stay on top of things, doesn't he? And then in turn, I guess you guys as his staff do also.
Yes, we all take continuing education courses, and we're required to have a certain number of hours for a year, so we always go to the dental conventions and stay caught up with all the current technology and anything new that's coming out. Okay. And the rest of summer we are offering a special for a free exam for any new patients that come in, and just make sure to mention that you heard about it and tell us, and we'll give you a free exam for the rest of summer.
Oh, that's itself a really huge deal, isn't it, to come in and have just a completely free dental exam?
Yeah.
Tell everybody where we are.
We're at 150 East, 200 North in Logan, Utah, and it's Suite B1.
The name of the office is
New Smile Dental.
New Smile Dental. So thank you and good luck. Here tonight at Who Hot, and Who Hot has a special Monday night family night, right? Lindsay, why do you come to this?
Because it's good food and it's got healthy options rather than just fried food that you would get at McDonald's or somewhere else.
Now you are, I guess, all of you regulars here. How often do you come? Or do you not want to say? We come a lot.
My particular family probably comes once a month.
Yeah. Usually to this family night's really a great idea, isn't it? Now let's explain the family night for those people that don't know. As I understand it, if you have one adult in your party, you can have a child 12 and under eat for free. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So that actually makes it pretty affordable, especially with all the good food, the noodles, and you can go through and make any kind of combination that you want. So Judy, are you going to tell us a little bit about what you like here?
I like the sauces I like are the sweet and sour and the teriyaki, and then I like it with beef and pork, and then the vegetables.
Okay. And I guess you can make it as spicy, hot, or not as spicy, mild as you like. Which way do you go?
I go the mild.
Yeah, me too. Not a spicy girl. Me neither. Okay, Dan, how about you?
I like mine spicy.
Oh, we've got a Who Hot lover here.
I like it hot. Oh, I usually get the pad thai sauce with It doesn't matter what kind of meat. I like a lot of meat.
Okay.
Less noodles, more meat.
And that is, of course, an option here. You can either go all veggies if you feel like it, or all meat if you feel like it. What's your favourite, Lindsay?
I probably have a pretty even mixture between meat, noodles, and vegetables. I don't favor one over the other.
Okay. Just like everything. Yeah. I guess it's why you keep coming back, right?
Right.
Now, as far as the kids' food, we can see down here we've got mac and cheese with some fries. The kids don't have to have the Mongolian food, but they certainly can. What did you get tonight, darling?
I got some meat and some noodles, and I also got some sauce.
Tell me your name, sweetheart.
Addison Haney.
Addison, and brother over here, what did you have?
I had some.
Thanks. You guys going back tonight? For you tonight on the Game of the Week on the Valley Channel. We've got the North versus South tournament out here at Skyview. These teams from way down south, Pineview, Snow Canyon, Canyon View, all coming up from the nice warm sun to the cold Cache Valley winter to take on Skyview, Ridgeline, Mountain Crest. It's been going on since, I think, Wednesday night. It goes on through tonight. We're going to have a couple of games for you. We're going to start out with Ridgeline and Snow Canyon. Ridgeline coming up with the win last night and facing a Snow Canyon team tonight that's had a pretty tough start on the season. Ridgeline would like to get across that 500 mark up to 3-2, coming off that state championship year. It's always interesting coming off a state championship year. They got Landon Brenchley, who's back, who's leading this team right now, but there's a lot of players on that Ridgeline team that can really make a lot of noise. It's not a one-man team. Stick around. Game of the Week is coming up next.
They said I wasn't fast enough. Forget what they say. You define you. The way you move, the way you compete, the way you train. If you want to win on the field, you have to move like no one else has moved before. That's why I train with Rip 60. Power, speed, strength. If you train the Rip 60 way, you'll be able to do things you never thought possible.
Rip 60 features suspended rotation, the key to power, so your body is forced to stabilize and balance throughout your workout, engaging more muscles and building your core with every move. The secret is the rotational carriage, which promotes more muscle activity, allowing you to build muscle fast.
I train like the pros, and you can too. Get Rip 60.
Unlock the rewards of training the way elite athletes do in less than 60 minutes a day for just 60 days, so you can get incredible results like these fast. Call now and you can receive expedited shipping so you can reach your goal even faster.
Because you define you. Rip 60 training is the way.
Spicy Sriracha Chicken Sandwich for a limited time.
The Game of the Week on the Valley Channel is brought to you by Icon Health and Fitness, changing lives with fitness innovation. Wendy's of Cache Valley. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Mountain Star Cache Valley Hospital. Together, we're greater. Lewiston State Bank, strong and vibrant for over a century. Cache Valley Electric, a tradition of excellence since 1915. New Smile Dental, experience dental care. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, bring back what you've been missing. LSS Insurance, Bob Larson, personalized insurance coverage for your family and business. The Book Table, your family store for books, music, toys, art, and much more. Planet Fitness of Logan, no gym intimidation and only $10 a month. Aspen Dental, get that gorgeous smile you've always wanted. The Logo Shop, we logo stuff, all kinds of stuff. And the Valley Channel, Cache Valley's television station for over 25 years. Hello everyone and welcome to Skyview High School in Smithfield. I'm Eric Olson with you on the Valley Channel for the game of the week. As tonight, a couple of games for you in the North versus South tournament. Skyview taking on Pineview in our 7 o'clock game, and at 5:15 our game coming up in just a few minutes. Ridgeline playing Snow Canyon. Ridgeline comes into the game 2-2. Snow Canyon, the Warriors from down the St. George area, are 1-4. Ridgeline, of course, coming off of that magical run last year in which they won the state championship in their first year in existence. And of course, Jackson Brenchley was the engine that made that team go, but you had other players like Wallentine and others that really made a difference for that team as they ran their way to the title. Those guys are gone now, but there's still a Brenchley on this Ridgeline team. It's Landon Brenchley. He's only a sophomore, or excuse me, only a junior. He's the younger brother of Jackson Brenchley, and he's doing a pretty good job in the early going, playing his way out of his big brother's shadow. Landon averaging 20.5 points per game, almost 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal and a half per game. 27 against Canyon View last night, and then 26 against Payson, 8 rebounds against Payson as well in his best games. Ridgeline 2-2, they beat Payson 67-64 and Canyon View 70-65. Fremont beat them at Fremont 74-62, and Layton routed them at Layton. The Lancers scoring 81 points in an 81-48 victory. Breck Jackson can put up points for this team. Sam Wida, he is long. A lot of you hear about tall, but he's long arms, long legs, and you know, a guy that can pull down rebounds and bother shots. So that's for Ridgeline. If you take a look at Canyon View, Coach Rob Patton's in his 7th year. They were 16-11 last year. Or excuse me, Snow Canyon. I'm thinking about the game just before, as Canyon View defeated Mountain Crest. The Snow Canyon, they're 1-4. They lost last night to Skyview 72-50. Jameson Sorensen's in his 2nd year. They were 7-14 last year. They didn't qualify for the playoffs. They do return 3 starters: Braden Baker, Joey Robertson, and Bryson Childs. They've lost 4 in a row after winning the first game of the season 53-41 against Parowan. Baker averages 13.4 and Childs 10.6 to lead this Snow Canyon team, but the Warriors, again, losers of 4 in a row coming into this one. They do have a size advantage over Ridgeline. Baker is 6'4", Parker High is 6'4", Bryson Childs 6'4", Joey Robertson 6'6", where Ridgeline's tallest player in their starting lineup, they got 4 guys that are 6'3", and then Ben Johnson goes 6'2". So we'll see if the size of Snow Canyon causes Ridgeline any trouble, as they're still trying to gel together as a unit after losing so many players from that championship team of a year ago. Our second game coming up after this one will be Pineview and Skyview. Won't talk much about that, as we'll talk more about it before that one starts, but stick around. Now's the time. Go get yourself a drink or something. Get ready. We're going to go to the break and be back with Snow Canyon and Ridgeline, the North versus South tournament on the game of the week.
Tell me something and I'd say, huh? And then they tell me again and I'd say, huh? And they'd say, never mind. And so I called and made an appointment.
Say the word pass.
He's a PhD, and I know what it takes to get a PhD.
Say the word red.
It was like night and day. And then the hearing test was the thing that I thought, wow, he really knows what he's doing. I would recommend Dr. Daines to anybody, everybody.
Just a few minutes away here from the tip-off of the early game in the North versus South tournament. This North versus South tournament put together by coaches to see some of these teams from Region 9 down there in the Cedar City, St. George area. And you got 3 teams from each region. You got Skyview, Mountain Crest, and Ridgeline from Region 12. You got Pineview, Snow Canyon, and Canyon View from down there at the south end of the state. And of course, next year they'll be down there in the sun. Ike Smith at 5'11". Getting the start for Ridgeline. Breck Jackson, a 6'3" junior. Smith is a senior. Breck Jackson, the 6'3" junior. Ben Johnson, the 6'2" senior. Sam Weeda is a 6'3" senior. And then Landon Brenchley at 6'3", just a junior, putting up big numbers as a junior. He's only going to get better. For the Snow Canyon Warriors, at 6'4", the senior, Braden Baker, number 3. Austin Stahaley at 5'10", a senior, in the starting lineup as well. Brooks Sampson is a 6' senior. As Bryson Childs at 6'4", another senior in that starting lineup, along with 6'6" Joey Robertson. And there's your starter for the Snow Canyon Warriors. Again, they've lost 4 in a row after winning their opener. Ridgeline 2-2. They've one lost. So see if Ridgeline can get over 500 again as they continue to try to gel, coming off that season in which they brought home the hardware last year. Weeda and Baker set to tip it off at midcourt. Chasing it into the backfield, the backcourt's a couple of 10s. Staley and Johnson, and Snow Canyon comes up with it as Johnson controls. Baker looks underneath, has his man, easy entry pass to Robertson, who turns in and scores. Snow Canyon on the board first as Brenchley brings it across the timeline. Hands it off to Smith, who plays catch with Johnson. Screen coming from Breck Jackson, but they go the other way with it. Back to Johnson, 3 from the angle. Off the mark, Johnson hit the deck. No foul call, rebounded out of there by Snow Canyon. Staley works against Brenchley. Now they give it off to Sampson. Sampson tries the middle, kicks out. Back underneath. Worked on the first possession, looking again. Down low, missing from point blank this time is the 6'6" Robertson. And Ridgeline with the rebound. Weeda, baseline drive. Lean in, miss it, he'll go to the line. I believe that's going to be Robertson. It is Joey Robertson picking up the first foul of the game. Sam Weeda, 8.75 points per game as he's moved into the starting lineup this year. Sinks the first free throw. 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and a steal and a half per game. He had 12 rebounds against Canyon View. Last night, 10 points versus Layton was his high for the season so far. 2 free throws, ties it at 2. Ridgeline with some pressure. Staley looks at the zone now. Snow Canyon works it around the perimeter, looking for an open. Ridgeline in that zone. They take it down underneath, kick right back out. Looks like a travel. It is a travel. Brooks Sampson almost looked like he caught his toe as he turned the corner, and it made him kind of hop as he tried to stop. And the turnover, Snow Canyon there first. and they apply some pressure. Reed gives it off to Johnson as he crosses the timeline. Here's Brenchley, 3, way short. Rebound fought for, it's going the other way. Brenchley came on late last season, the younger brother of Jackson Brenchley, who's Mr. Everything for this team. He came on as a defender mostly, and a hard-nosed one at that, and started to put the ball in the bucket a lot as well. Richline with the foul. That's the first team foul. Down low, turning in, missing is Childs. Rebound fought for, put back up and in by Joey Robertson. He's 6'6", he's been using his size. And he gives Snow Canyon a lead, and a slow start by both teams in the early going here in the North versus South tournament. Johnson faces the double team, kicks it out to Smith. Johnson looks inside to Jackson, instead goes cross court and turns it over. All the way to the other end is Baker. Baker kicks it back out, and here's a steal going the other way. Johnson has to save it back in, and they say no, he stepped on the sideline. So both teams turning it over. Both teams with 2 turnovers. 5:11 to play in the first period. 4-2 Snow Canyon. Robertson looks underneath. Instead goes back out front. Now they try the entry pass, and it's stolen away by Johnson. 3rd turnover for the Warriors. Weeda with the nice move, gets to the rim, too hard, rebound, put back, good by Brenchley. Landon Brenchley gets his first bucket of the game, and he'll go to the line to try to give Ridgeline their first lead. We didn't see who the foul was on. Brenchley's free throw is good. 5-4 Ridgeline with their first lead of the night. Robertson sits down. And checking in for Snow Canyon, Tim Shakespeare. There's another turnover for Snow Canyon, their 4th, as Weeda comes up with it. Brenchley shut off as he looked at the baseline drive. They go around the horn, find Smith, he leaves it short, and it gets pinned between the rim and the backboard. Mountain Crest lost a close game to Canyon View in the game just before this one. Mountain Crest lost last night to Pineview. Pineview with that win improves to 5-0 on the season. They'll be facing Skyview in the nightcap game. We will also have for you on the Valley Channel. On the jump ball situation with that pin ball, Ridgeline keeps possession. Johnson, 3 ball, no good. Rebound, Jackson keeps it alive. Weeda out near midcourt. Back in they go to Jackson. Jackson triple team, bounce pass underneath to his diving Brenchley. He can't hit it. Ball knocked around, and finally Johnson comes up with it and scores. 4 of the 5 starters on the board as Braden Baker takes it coast to coast. He makes it a 1-point game, 7-6 Ridgeline. Jackson high post, kicks it back out to Brenchley, who fakes the 3, drives in around Shakespeare, leaves it short. Weeda's long arms there, collecting the rebound, but he can't score, and Bryson Childs clears the board. 3:40 to play in the first period, 7-6 Ridgeline. Offense has been in short supply in this first period. Shakespeare looking for the entry pass as they can't find him. Turning the corner and raising for the jumper is Sampson. He misses, and it's rebounded out by Ridgeline. Smith to Weeda. Smith has it back as Weeda and Smith play catch with it. Out top. Breck Jackson's high post. They don't find him. Working against that zone. Both teams employing a lot of zone here in the early going. 3 minutes to play in the first period. A 1-point game. Ridgeline 7-6. Ridgeline looking for an opening. Smith with the shot fake, and he's fouled as Staley was going for the steal. Tried to poke it away, reaching around Smith. Smith was dribbling away from him, then Smith stopped. And Staley ran into him. Parker High into the ball game. As Brooks Sampson takes a seat. Parker High at 6'4". Replacing Sampson, who's a 6-foot guard. Smith, corner three, high arch shot, in and out, stays out. Brenchley chasing down the board, and then it's saved by Staley off of Brenchley and out of bounds. Snow Canyon basketball. 2:21 to play in a 1-point ball game. Ridgeline with the slim lead. Snow Canyon bringing it up court against pressure. Here's a three on the way, and good by Baker. Baker has 5 points, and Snow Canyon back out in front, 9-7. 2 minutes to play in the first period. Weeda and Smith been playing a lot of catch in this first period. Out around the perimeter, working against that zone. And now sneaking in behind, it's Johnson. Shakespeare gets there, but a little bit late, and a foul called. It's Johnson diving to the basket. Smith finds him. And a foul on Shakespeare. Fourth team foul. Ben Johnson goes to the line. That's 4 free throws in this period for Ridgeline. They're 4 of 4, one more coming. Only 2 field goals, the rest of their points from the free throw line. 5 from the charity stripe, 4 from the field, and then we're tied at 9. Boy, there's a bad pass, turned over. 5 turnovers to Snow Canyon, and a blocking foul as Brenchley went to the bucket. Staley stepped in and picked up the foul. That's his second foul. With 1:33 to play in the first period. 5 team fouls on Snow Canyon, 1 for Ridgeline. Staley will have to sit Warner into the ball game. Entry pass to Weeda, hands it back to Brenchley, and he's fouled. Cole Warner checks into the ball game, gets a foul. Next foul on Snow Canyon is going to put Ridgeline at the free throw line for the rest of the half. Well, they've changed that now on the board. I've also got 6, but they changed. I think they gave one of Ridgeline's fouls to Snow Canyon up on that big board, but I've also got 6, so somewhere along the line there's a phantom foul. No, they change it back to 6 now. Brenchley hits both free throws. Brenchley with 5, and it's a 2-point lead. Near steal by Ridgeline. Ridgeline with that 2-point lead. A foul on a 3-point play, or a 3-point shot as Weeda tries to block Parker High, and instead Parker High will go to the free throw line.
Fouls on Sam Weeda, his second.
Brady Stewart into the ball game for Ridgeline.
Parker High shooting.
I think they're talking to make sure that he was on behind the line. They're going to say his foot was on the line. He gets 2. So that's a break for the Riverhawks. Parker High shoots the first free throws of the game for Snow Canyon. There's 1:29 to play here in this first period. Michael Tuckett into the ball game for Ridgeline. Second free throw no good, but rebounded by Snow Canyon and a foul on Ridgeline. Called out on Brenchley. Brenchley picks up his first. Out front to High. Underneath, Shakespeare against Tuckett. No foul as Tuckett bodied him up and rebounded out of there by Breck Jackson. Johnson, straightaway three. Finally, a three ball goes down. And Ben Johnson has 7 points for Ridgeline. The first three-pointer for the Riverhawks. 14-10 Ridgeline. Ridgeline playing a zone of their own. 30 seconds to play here in this first period. Three on the way by Baker. High off the iron, and the ball touched last by Snow Canyon out of bounds. And it's going over to the Riverhawks. So Brenchley will sit down. There'll still a couple minutes rest for him as Ike Smith comes in for him. He hands it in to Brady Stewart. Brady Stewart, along with Tuckett, Jackson, and Johnson for Ridgeline. Warner, High, Shakespeare, Childs, and Baker for the Warriors. Down low they go to Tuckett. Tuckett, wraparound move, out to Stewart. Breck Jackson with the three, won't go. 1 second as the rebound is fought for, and not enough time for Snow Canyon to get a shot off. 14-10, Ridgeline with the lead as we head for the second period.
When I finally got tired of playing through knee pain, I went to a surgeon I'd heard good things about. Best choice I ever made. My doctor was great, but so was the hospital. They presented me with all of my options, and they took time to help me make decisions. That's the way it should be. That's what led to this moment. And that look on Phil's face.
Before your moment of truth, choose a health plan that partners with the Mountain Star Healthcare Network.
Not bigger, just better.
Kind of a ragged first period here at Skyview in this North versus South tournament game between Ridgeline and Snow Canyon. 14-10, Ridgeline with the lead. They end up putting 14 points on the board, but this one was stuck in single digits for most of that first period. Braden Baker led the way for Snow Canyon with 5 points. Ben Johnson had 7 for Ridgeline. Landon Brenchley with 5. Sam Weeda, the only other Riverhawk to score, he had a pair of free throws. Oliver Taylor into the ball game. The senior, number 55 for Ridgeline. He's going to guard Shakespeare. Taylor joins Tuckett, Smith, Brenchley, and Johnson on the court. Cade Garrisoli on the court, number 34. Hands it off to Bryson Childs. Childs attacks the rim, and he'll go to the free throw line. Tuckett picks up his first foul. Childs missed the free throw. Childs had 17 rebounds last night versus Skyview in the loss to the Bobcats. 17 boards. 14-11 as Childs makes 1 of 2. Tuckett back out front to Brenchley. Tuckett, high post, finds Johnson underneath, and a foul called from the outside on Braden Baker. Looked like it was clean up top. Must have had some body contact or a hand down on the waist or something. Free throws the rest of the way for Ridgeline, as that's the 7th team foul on Snow Canyon. That was the first on Baker. Johnson averages 8.5 a game, and with those 2 free throws, he's got 9. 16-11 Ridgeline. Trapping press put on by Ridgeline. Now they settle back into the zone. Snow Canyon working around the perimeter, looking for a shot. Baker's hit a 3 in the first. This one knocked away from Childs and stolen away. Back to Brenchley on the trailer, but a travel, a turnover. Snow Canyon now with 6 turnovers, Ridgeline with 4. Staley comes into the ball game. Brooks Sampson comes with him. Warner will sit, as will Baker. Childs, Staley, Baker. No, Baker's going to stay on there. Looked like he was going to sit. He's going to stay on. It's Garrisley that'll sit down. Shakespeare fumbles it, gets it back. Down low, he goes to Childs. Childs kicks it back out front. Good look by Baker. 3 ball, up and in. Baker with 8. 16-14 Ridgeline. We've played 2 minutes of this second period. Down low, Smith gets pushed and down he goes. It was Bryson Childs, and Smith slow to get up. He dinged his knee, or maybe an ankle. Childs with the foul. And Smith the line for 1-and-1. I don't know if he's going to be able to shoot it. They're going to take a look at him. He caught the ball in the paint. Childs was behind him with his hands up, but then he bumped him with the body and really knocked him to the floor hard. Now Smith is being helped off by the trainer. So that means Brady Stewart will go to the free throw line to shoot the free throws for him. 1-and-1. Free throws up and good. Stewart with the first points off the bench for the Riverhawks. Second free throw, no good. Brenchley fights for the rebound, knocks it away right to his teammate. And Ben Johnson with 11 points, having a good first half. We mentioned he averages 8.5 a game. There's 5:50 to play in the second period. He's already got 11. Down low, Sampson leans in, pulls his way to the rim, misses, gets his own rebound, misses again, and then out of bounds. Excuse me, that was Childs, not Sampson. There's a battle going on for the basketball down in the paint. The ball stays here. 5.5 to play in the first half. 19-14 Ridgeline. Baker can't find anybody down low. Robertson back into the game. Now they find him. Nice little wraparound pass. Better catch by Robertson as he grabs it and turns in and scores. 6 points for the 6'6" junior. 19-16 Ridgeline. Snow Canyon's played a zone the whole half. Taylor can't handle it, but it's knocked out of bounds by Snow Canyon. Breck Jackson will come back into the game, and Oliver Taylor will have a seat, and a timeout called by Snow Canyon. 5 minutes remaining here in this first half. 19-16, Ridgeline with the lead, a 30-second timeout. Baker has 8 for Snow Canyon. Parker High with 1, Bryson Childs with 1, 6 for Joey Robertson, and that's it. For Ridgeline, Ben Johnson with 11, 2 for Sam Weeda. Brenchley has 5, and Brady Stewart with 1. Snow Canyon has used 9 players, as has Ridgeline. Breck Jackson hasn't scored for Ridgeline. He averages 12 points per game. He had 27 points against Canyon View. And he hasn't scored here tonight yet. So he and Brenchley are the leading scorers, averaging in double figures at 20.5 and 12. See if Jackson can get off the schneid. Misses on the drive from the left side. Taylor collects the board. I say Taylor, I meant Tucker. Straight away, Johnson's having a good first half. Gets to the rim, lay it up and in. Ben Johnson with 13. Ball out of bounds, thrown away by Snow Canyon. Their 7th turnover. A 5-point lead for Ridgeline. They've got the ball back with 4.5 to play in the first half. Ridgeline working it around. Jackson. Brenchley. Brenchley to the rim. Got it. In this game, he hasn't been as aggressive as we used to see Big Brother being, but again, he's his own player, and he was very aggressive toward the end of last year. Here's Robertson leaning in, missing. Rebounded by Snow Canyon. Back down they go to Robertson. Robertson put it up and in. Nice little spin move to the baseline. And Robertson has 4. Robertson averaging 11 points a game. He's got 4 here in this quarter, 8 for the game. 23-18, stays at a 5-point lead for Ridgeline as they work the perimeter. Approaching 3 minutes to play. Jackson with the ball fake. Now he gets up and under the defender and puts his first bucket in. Mentioned a moment ago, he averages 12 a game. He hadn't scored, and now he has. Here's a near turnover, and it ends up being a turnover for Snow Canyon as they couldn't handle underneath. Brenchley presses, now backs it out. Johnson looks low to Jackson. Jackson working against Robertson. Robertson pushed him out of there. So Robertson doesn't like the call, but what happened was he pushed Jackson off the block, which was okay, but as Jackson stumbled forward, Robertson's arm extended straight out. He actually had pretty good defense there, but his hand and arm extended all the way out. It makes it look more like a push, and he has to ride the pine now. Now what's going on? The officials are huddling up, and the teams are huddling up. technical foul. See who they called it on. And that goes as a team foul too. I think they may have called it on Childs. Cole Warner checks into the game. He's just a sophomore, number 15. And Breck Jackson will shoot the technical free throw. Here comes another. They didn't say if it was on a player or on the bench. Jackson's got free throws as well from the foul. One more. So a moment ago we talked about how Mr. 12 points per game hadn't scored. And all of a sudden, he's got 6 points. All here in the second period. 4 free throws in a row after a made shot. So he's scored 6 in a row. And it's now a 29-18 lead, a costly technical foul. As Ridgeline gets the ball back. Ridgeline with only 4 fouls, 10 fouls for Snow Canyon, and that may be some of the frustration for the Warriors. 2.5 to play in the first half. 11-point Ridgeline lead. Stewart, cross-court pass, gets it back to Brenchley. He flips it around, the 3-ball up and in by Caleb Buckmiller. Buckmiller with his first action of the night, and he hits a 3, 32-18 Ridgeline. 8 turnovers haven't helped the cause for Snow Canyon in this first. Boy, Baker passed up a 3. Warner takes one too hard. Rebound fought for and a reach-in foul by Brooks Sampson. Brenchley sold it. Brenchley just a junior. We're going to see another underclassman in the next game as Mason Falsliv for Skyview. A young phenom. He's just a sophomore. Averaging 15 points a game. Brenchley makes the first free throw. It's 4 of 4 from the free throw line. He's got 8 points, and I jinxed him. Stays with 8. 19 points in this period for Ridgeline, and now there's a reach-in foul on Buckmiller. That's the 15th foul on Ridgeline. Staley comes across the timeline. Down in the corner, back out top to Sampson. Now it's Shakespeare, the big man with a 3-ball. He's got it. That's good. Timmy Shakespeare. Timmy Shakespeare with the 3. And it's a 12-point advantage for Ridgeline. 33-21. 1:31 to play in the half. Timeout, Snow Canyon. So Shakespeare with the 3-pointer. That's the 3rd 3-pointer of this half for Snow Canyon. 2 for Braden Baker, and then that one for Shakespeare. 2 3-pointers for Ridgeline, 1 for Johnson, 1 for Buckmiller, but it's free throws for Ridgeline. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 free throws in the first half. And they're 15 of 17 from the free throw line, so 15 of their 33 points have come from the line. Meanwhile, Snow Canyon is 2 of 4. Technical foul called on Snow Canyon a few minutes ago. Players in the bench are getting a little bit frustrated with the foul situation. And that ended up being a 6-point swing because all 4 free throws were hit. Ridgeline retained possession and they scored on the possession. 33-21 Ridgeline as they come back into play. Johnson's had a nice first half. 13 points for Johnson in this first half. 90 seconds to play in the half. Buckmiller with the touch pass to Johnson. Johnson saves it back in. Nope, he stepped on the end line. 5th turnover for Ridgeline. Ridgeline keeps up the pressure. They've got a trapping press going on. Snow Canyon doing a good job of breaking it that time with relative ease. Staley holds. Sampson down to Baker. Turnaround jumper's good. Baker's a smooth player. He's got 10 points. Braden Baker, the leading scorer on this team. 13, almost 13 and a half a game. 4 rebounds. Almost 3 steals per game. Jackson, 3. Way too hard. Rebound won't go as Brenchley is knocked down. No foul call. Baker loses it. Now a foul underneath. Baker saying, hey, I was shooting. Let's see what the officials say. Baker goes right to the line. And it's free throws regardless. I believe that's the 17th foul. Let's see. Nope, that's number 6. Brady Stewart picks up the foul. Now a whistle by the official, and they go check with the scorer's table. They check and make sure, and yes, it is the 16th foul. No penalty situation yet. 35 seconds to play in the half. 33-23 Ridgeline. They get it into Baker. Baker's tied up by Taylor, and the ball goes over to Ridgeline. 9th turnover for Snow Canyon. Now the possession arrow says Ridgeline. And everybody over on the other side's hollering white ball. And the official down at the scorer's table, and it says blue ball. Ridgeline ball. .30 seconds. Brenchley holds near the center circle. Clock winding down. Now we're at 10 seconds. Brenchley backs it out, gives it up. Stewart looks. Gets it back to Brenchley. Right side baseline, charge. So Brenchley with his 2nd foul and a turnover on the offensive foul. 1.6 seconds to play in the half. It's no free throws on an offensive foul. It's time maybe for a long throw and maybe one dribble. Shakespeare and Taylor going at it. And the official comes over and tells him to settle down. They're going to go down to Baker. Baker turns, fires. No good. It looked good, but it was a little long. And that's where we are as we end the half. Ridgeline 33, Snow Canyon 23. You're watching the North versus South tournament on the Valley Channel.
Billy Goat Ruffians. Seen it, covered it. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Give us a call at 752-9493. You'll be glad you did.
They said I wasn't fast enough. Forget what they say. You define you. The way you move, the way you compete, the way you train. If you want to win on the field, you have to move like no one else has moved before. That's why I train with RIP 60. Power, speed, strength. If you train the RIP 60 way, you'll be able to do things you never thought possible.
RIP 60 features suspended rotation, the key to power so your body is forced to stabilize and balance throughout your workout, engaging more muscles and building your core with every move. The secret is the rotational carriage, which promotes more muscle activity, allowing you to build muscle fast.
I train like the pros. You can too. Get RIP 60.
Unlock the rewards of training the way elite athletes do in less than 60 minutes a day for just 60 days, so you can get incredible results like these fast. Call now and you can receive expedited shipping so you can reach your goal even faster.
Because you define you. RIP 60 training is the way.
Spicy Sriracha Chicken Sandwich for a limited time. Only Wendy's can make the Baconator, because while some other guys use frozen beef from far away,
that's 9,429 miles away.
Wendy's only uses fresh beef from ranches close by,
so we don't have to freeze it.
Then add 6 strips of bacon, cooked fresh in an oven, never a microwave, tossed with plenty of cheese, without a single veggie to get in the way.
Aww. Proving once and for all
that only Wendy's has the bacon and the Ater to make the Baconator.
I'm Sydney Barlow, and I'm a forward on the Skyview girls soccer team. I'm honored to be a Wendy's All-Star. Go Bobcats! Hi, I am Kylie Griffin. I am a forward on the Skyview girls soccer team. I am honored to be a Wendy's All-Star. Go Bobcats!
Honestly, my favorite sound in the world is that swish in the net. During practice, I strive to hear that every time I shoot the ball, just because it's what perfection is. I was probably 1 year old when I had a basketball in my hand. My dad has coached basketball since before I was born.
She would come to my practices and start dribbling the ball, and eventually she was picking it up a lot quicker than some of my high school athletes.
The role of a point guard is to make the right decisions in critical situations, and I think that helps me a lot in my life.
She works every single day. It's really motivational that she can do all that, especially for me because I take that from her.
I've always been told in the past that my body type is not fit for Division I basketball. I'm not strong enough, or I'm not tall enough, or I'm not quick enough, but I don't care because I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that level.
She has a really great outlook on things, and she's quite mature in that way, not letting failure keep her down.
My parents and my family have sacrificed so much for me. I owe it to them to be the best person, athlete, and student that I can be no matter what, and that's what I strive to do every day.
All the hard work that she's put in that nobody has ever seen, it's incredible. She can never make me not proud of her.
I don't fear failure. I fear not reaching my full potential because I know in my heart that I can be something bigger than I am right now.
The Game of the Week on the Valley Channel is brought to you by Icon Health and Fitness, changing lives with fitness innovation. Wendy's of Cache Valley. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Mountain Star Cache Valley Hospital. Together, we're greater. Lewiston State Bank, strong and vibrant for over a century. Cache Valley Electric, a tradition of excellence since 1915. New Smile Dental, experience dental care. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Bring back what you've been missing. LSS Insurance, Bob Larson. Personalized insurance coverage for your family and business. The Book Table, your family store for books, music, toys, art, and much more. Planet Fitness of Logan. No gym intimidation and only $10 a month. Aspen Dental. Give that gorgeous smile you've always wanted. The Logo Shop. We logo stuff. All kinds of stuff. And the Valley Channel, Cache Valley's television station for over 25 years. Back at Skyview High School as the clock runs out on halftime, a 10-point lead for Ridgeline over Snow Canyon. Ridgeline led in that first half by Ben Johnson. A couple of free throws, a few regular field goals, and a three-pointer thrown in for 13 points. 8 points for Landon Brenchley, 6 for Breck Jackson, 3 for Caleb Buckmiller, 2 for Sam Weeda, 1 for Brady Stewart. Braden Baker led Snow Canyon with 10 points, 8 points for Joey Robertson, 1 apiece for Childs and High, and a three-pointer for Shakespeare off the bench. Here's Bryson Childs going to the bucket. He can't get the shot to go down, but it's rebounded out of there by Sampson. His three doesn't count, though, as a foul called. Let's see who the foul's on. Tuckett. Tuckett starts the second half. That's his second foul. Turning in, missing, is Sampson, and boy, a big collision on the rebound as Childs went for the bucket. Tuckett may have just picked up number 3. Let's see if it's on him or someone else. Oh, it's on Weeda. Weeda picks up his second. Childs hits the first. 4 free throws the entire first half for Snow Canyon. For Ridgeline. And they were 15 of 17 from the line. Now Snow Canyon for the game is 4 out of 6 from the line. And it's an 8-point Ridgeline lead. Brenchley with 8. The average is 20.5 coming into this one. Not really aggressive offensively in that first half. He was more content to get others involved, and was kind of picking and choosing when he would take a shot. Here's a turnover. 7th for Ridgeline as Weeda threw it away. 7 minutes, we played 1 minute here in this third period, so 7 minutes to play in the third. It's an 8-point lead for Ridgeline. And Staley fires up the 3, trying to cut into it. It's long and rebounded by Johnson.
Johnson to Taylor, who's into the ball game for Tuckett. Smith started the game. Smith got injured in the first half. He's over on the bench, and they're still working on his left leg. Don't know that we're going to see him again. He came out on crutches. Jackson, 3 is short. Rebound by Snow Canyon, and Staley brings it across the timeline. 3 in the corner. In and out by Baker. Baker's got a smooth release. Had a couple of threes there in the first half and a foul. Blocking foul. Looks like they call it Sampson. Brooks Sampson with his second. (33-25). Ridgeline has yet to score here in this third period as Ouida overshoots the bucket on a 3 attempt. Snow Canyon coming the other way. Staley sees an opening to the rim. Lay it up short, rebounded by Brenchley. Ouida, lay it in. Ouida with 4. This one out of bounds, wide of Baker, and a turnover. Snow Canyon with turnover number 10, and a timeout called by Coach Graydon Buckmiller. He's taking a 30-second timeout as his team leads by 10, 35-25, with 5:39 to play here in the third period. This game got off to a slow start offensively. Both teams, really, it was herky-jerky, and they couldn't get anything going. And late in the first period, they finally started to find the bottom of the hoop. And then in that second period, some points were scored, mostly by Ridgeline. They scored 19 points after 14 in the first, 13 for Snow Canyon. And it was a 33-23 halftime lead. We played just about 2.5 minutes here in this second half, and both teams have scored 1 bucket apiece. Ouida will trigger inbounds. He's going to run with Jackson, Johnson, Taylor, and Brenchley. Ike Smith, again, if you're just joining us, got hurt in that second period. Hurt his leg. He's still on the bench. Taylor, long three-pointer, won't go. Rebound. Ouida climbs up, grabs it, scores it. He came flying in and knocked one of the Snow Canyon players out of the way. They wanted a foul, didn't get it, and Ouida now with 6 points. And it's a 12-point lead for Ridgeline. They've led by as many as 15. Baker leans in and he'll go to the line. They're going to call that one on Oliver Taylor. Baker with free throws. No field goals yet for Snow Canyon here in the second half. We've played 3 minutes. They've scored 3 points from the free throw line. They're looking for their 4th. Didn't get it. Baker 1 of 2. 37-26, under 5 minutes to play in the third. Weed is bumped by Baker. Baker picks up his second. Lots of whistles in this ball game. The second foul on Snow Canyon here in this second half. There's been 3 whistles rung up on Ridgeline. Ouida looking like he wants to take it to the rack. Loses control, loses the ball. Staley all the way, left hand layup attempt, won't go. Ball on the floor, Baker's in there, so's Ouida, so's Jackson. And a timeout called by Snow Canyon. And Coach Buckmiller comes to midcourt and says, how can you call a timeout when multiple players are fighting for the ball? So Snow Canyon gets it. And they keep it, courtesy of a well-timed timeout by the bench. Ridgeline with 8 turnovers, 10 for Snow Canyon. Snow Canyon coming into this game 1-4. They won their first game of the year. and then lost 4 in a row, including last night to Skyview, 72-50. They beat Parowan in that opener, 53-41. Our next game is going to be Pineview and Skyview. Pineview coming in at 5-0. Skyview will probably be the best team that they've faced so far this season. Pineview's beaten Uinta, Richfield, Enterprise, and Mountain Crest. Skyview coming in at 3-1. That one lost to Highland of Idaho, 83-72. Not a lot of three-pointers in this game. It's become such a big part of basketball, the three-point shot on all levels. Here's that mid-range jumper by Childs from the baseline right, won't go. Rebounded out by Jackson. Brenchley, 3, got it. What was I saying about 3 balls? Yeah, there's 11 for Brenchley. And his first three-pointer. 40-26, Ridgeline. Their largest lead was 15 in the first half. It's 14 now as Baker gives back to Staley. Tries to answer his 3 short. Rebound foul. Baker's going to pick up number 3. He jumped in there trying to surprise Jackson and knock it away, and he got some of his arm. So Baker's going to have to sit down. That's going to be a loss for Snow Canyon. Baker, their leading scorer on the season, 13.5 per game. He's got 11 as he sits down at the 3:47 mark of this third period, and his team trailing 39-26. Had 40 up on the big board a minute ago, but it's 39. They counted one as a three-pointer that was inside. Brenchley was just inside the three-point line. Foot. Toe must have been on that line. It looked like he was behind it from here, but I'm a lot further away than the guys in stripes. Ridgeline works it around the perimeter. Here's Brenchley in from the left side, blocked away, and they're going to call a charge on Brenchley. Offensive. Brenchley wants to know how. That's his third. That's the 4th team foul. Good break to the press there by Snow Canyon. Brooks Sampson. Banks one in. That's his first bucket of the game. 39-29, Ridgeline. 2:45 to play in the third. Taylor finds Weeda. Knifing in from the left side, and Weeda puts it in the bucket. Weeda with 8. 6 of them here in this third. There's a foul out front as Childs is tied up. That might be Brenchley's 4th. Let's see.
Foul on number 22.
It is. So Landon Brenchley picks up his 4th. He's going to head to the bench. Tuckett and Johnson come into the ball game and replace Buckmiller and Brenchley. So Brenchley goes to the bench with 10 points and 4 fouls. 10.5 points short of his season average of 20.5. Approaching the 2-minute mark of the third, a 41-29 lead for Ridgeline. Here's a foul as Taylor tried to go through Bryson Childs, knock it away. It's always funny to watch a kid reach in for a basketball, bash the kid in the back and enough that it pushes him off balance, and then wonder how they called it a foul. Here's Baker's in the game with 3 fouls. He sat down for a minute, now he's back. Well, that was Parker High, pardon me. Wondering why they'd bring him back. Johnson, 3, rims in and out, rebounded by Robertson. Robertson with 8 in the first half. Been quiet here in the third as we're under 2 minutes. High kicks it to Robertson, he loses it out of bounds. Oh, he had a clear path to the basket. He couldn't handle the pass. Now here's Baker. And he's going to replace Sampson. Baker will have to be careful with 3 fouls. See if Ridgeline goes after him. Stewart brings it across the timeline. 1:30 to play here in the third. Jackson working against Robertson. Leans in from the left side, a late whistle, and Robertson's going to get called for the bump. He doesn't like it, and these guys, a lot of them don't like the calls, but they've been calling it the same way all night. It's been a tightly called game. Both ways, especially here in this second half. So you just have to adjust your game to the way it's being called. You may not like it, but it's been the same the whole game. Breck Jackson misses the first free throw. Hits the second. It's a high bounce off the heel. Back up and in. 7 for Jackson. Jackson at 6'3". Warner nearly loses it out of bounds, then he throws it away out of bounds. 12th turnover for Snow Canyon. So we approach a minute to play here in this third period. Jackson couldn't find anybody to pass it to, so he fires up a shot, rebounded by Childs. Under a minute to play. High looks low to Childs. See what I did there? And Childs can't put it in the bucket, but he'll go to the free throw line. Who's the foul on? Now Coach Buckmiller wants to talk to one of the officials. Jackson picks up his first foul. That's 7 fouls on Ridgeline. Free throws the rest of the night for Snow Canyon. Childs misses. Childs has 3 points, all of them from the free throw line. He's shot 6 free throws. He's now hit 4 of 6. Averages almost 11 a game. Gets 17 rebounds last night against Skyview. 6'4". He's guarding Breck Jackson. Breck Jackson takes him down low, turns inside, banks it off the board and in. Jackson with 9. 44-30, another turnover by Snow Canyon. Boy, they have not taken care of the ball well tonight. 13 turnovers for the Warriors. Seconds to play here in this third period. A 14-point Ridgeline lead. They've led by as many as 15 in this game. Weta holds against Warner. Now he gives it up to Johnson. Landon Brenchley on the bench with 4 fouls. Weta in the paint. Kick back to Johnson. His 3 at the buzzer goes in and 1. The whistle blew as the bucket goes, and he'll get a free throw with no time left on the clock in the third period. Johnson's big game continues. He's got 16, looking for 17. 17. And he gives his team a 48-30 lead as we head to the fourth quarter on the Game of the Week.
Something and I'd say, huh? And then they tell me again and I'd say, huh? And they'd say, never mind. And so I called and made an appointment.
Say the word pass.
He's a PhD, and I know what it takes to get a PhD.
Say the word red.
It was like night and day. And then the hearing test was the thing that I thought, wow, he really knows what he's doing. I would recommend Dr. Daines to anybody, everybody.
Back at Skyview High School, the North versus South tournament. Eric Olson along with you. 30 for Snow Canyon, 48 for Ridgeline as we get ready to start the final 8 minutes of this ball game. Only 7 points in that third quarter for Snow Canyon, 15 for Ridgeline. Snow Canyon, 7 points. They scored 4 of them at the free throw line. Only 1 field goal. That was the three-pointer by Brooke Sampson. Here's Jackson. Jackson, stop, pop, hit.
Jackson.
11 now for Jackson. Late in the second period, he had 0. And we mentioned that he's a 12-point-a-game scorer. And then he scored 6 points in the space of less than a minute. Baker with the bucket. As the action picks up here, the pace picks up here. A steal, and Ridgeline with their 9th turnover. Baker goes to the rim again and 1. So Baker 4 quick points and 1 more coming. But it's a 50-34 lead for Ridgeline. Brady Stewart picks up the foul, his second. Baker with 15 points, make it 16. And he scored 5 in a row here in the space of about 20 seconds. 50-35. Ridgeline with the lead. Jackson triple team down low. Finds Weeda in the corner. Weeda drives in too hard as he throws it right through the hands of Johnson. Johnson with the turnover, the 10th for Ridgeline. Buckmiller will replace Johnson. Johnson's had a good game. He's got 17 points, leading all scorers. Brenchley on the bench in foul trouble. He's got 4 fouls, 10 points with him on that bench. Robertson throws it out front. Weeda takes it away. Weeda, lean in, throw down. Weeda with 10 points in the game, 8 here in the second half. 3 by Baker. 8 points by Baker in the first minute and a half of this fourth quarter. 52-38. Ridgeline with the lead. Jackson gets it off to Stewart. Stewart out to Weeda. Weeda, how hot are you? Pretty hot. Weeda with 5 straight. 13 now for Weeda. Another near turnover by Snow Canyon. 55-38. Ridgeline with that lead. Here's Baker again, his 3. Sweet. Talked about him all night. Boy, he's got a good looking shot. Smooth. And he's got 10, 12, 14. Boy, I'm gonna have to tally these up again. 2, 4, 6, 9. He's got 19 points here in this ball game. So he leads all scorers after that bucket. Johnson leading the way for Ridgeline with 17. 13 for Weeda, 10 for Brenchley. Buckmiller with 3 off the bench. Jackson has 11. 1 point for Brady Stewart. Ike Smith went out with an injury in the first half, and we haven't seen him since. Tuckett and Taylor have played but not scored. Joey Robertson, big number 33 for Snow Canyon, had 8 points in the first half and hasn't scored here in the second half. Well, Braden Baker has just lit it up. Points, 9 of them here in this second half, 8 in the early going of the fourth quarter. 55-41 as Brenchley comes back on for Ridgeline. Jackson working against Robertson. Finds Johnson underneath, up and under, and put it in. 19 for Johnson. Approaching 5 minutes to play, 16-point lead for Ridgeline. There's Robertson down low and a foul before the shot, but it'll be free throws as Ridgeline's over the limit. So Breck Jackson picks up his second. It's the 19th foul on Ridgeline. So it's going to be 2 free throws the rest of the way for Snow Canyon. Robertson with his first bucket of the second half. Not even a bucket, it's a free throw as he misses the second. Rebounded by Jackson. Tuckett. Back to Buckmiller. Down low to Jackson. Jackson misses, rebounded by Childs. Staley finds Baker. Baker baseline, left hand, lay it in. 21 for Baker. Again, 15 versus Lehigh. That's his previous high. A contested ball and a timeout called by Ridgeline. 4.5 to play in this ball game. It's 57-44. Ridgeline's led by as many as 18. It's down to 13 now. Coming up, we're going to have Pineview and Skyview. Pineview 5-0 are the Panthers. Coach Ryan Eves in his second year. They were third in Region 9 last year, 17-6. They lost to eventual 3A runner-up Juan Diego, 47-42 in the first round. 0 returning starters, but 3 guys averaging in double figures. Taylor Tobler, Jack O'Donnell, and Dallin Brown all averaging in double figures. Tobler averaging 19 points per ball game. Skyview's 3-1 with wins over Bonneville, Canyon View, and Snow Canyon. Kirk Hilliard's in his 7th year. They were 19-4 last year. They were first in Region 1. They lost to West Jordan, though, 69-63 in the first round of the 5A playoffs. Mason Falslove averaging 15 points a game. Cole DeBoard 11.5, and Kobe Wilson averaging 10.5. So looking forward to the nightcap. Still some business to be done in this one, though, with 4.5 left to play. It's a 13-point lead for Ridgeline. They're not out of the woods yet. Brenchley's bumped and fouled by Baker. For Baker, that'll be his 4th.
Fouls on Baker, his 4th.
So Baker has to be extra careful, and whoever is going against Baker needs to realize that and go at him hard, because he's not going to want to play much defense. Parker High is bothering Tuckett on the inbounds. He touched the last inbounds pass, so he actually kicked it. So they do it again. Johnson gives it off to Brenchley. Brenchley needs to get rid of it. He does. Tuckett dribbles out front. Back to Brenchley. 4 minutes to play in the ball game. A 13-point Ridgeline lead. Backdoor, Weeda, miss it. Beautiful play as Jackson hit Weeda. Diving to the hole. There was nobody near him, and he laid it up too hard and missed it. Here's the 3, straight away from Childs. It's short, rebounded by Jackson, and a reach in by Robertson. 16 foul on Snow Canyon. For Robertson, his 4th. Well, I have him for 4. The guys that matter down there on the sideline have him for 5. So Robertson will have to sit down finishes with 9 points. Robertson averaging 11 per ball game. He's a junior, 6'6". You got 1 minute to replace him. Looks like they're going to take all 60 of those seconds. Pressure by Snow Canyon. 3.5 to play in the ball game. Ridgeline leading 57-44. Weed breaks the press, gives it to Brenchley, and Brenchley leans in from the right side and scores. 12 for Brenchley. Averaging over 20 a game, saddled with some foul problems here in the second half of this one. He's at 12. Ben Johnson has picked up the scoring slack for him. Childs with the bucket. He's got 6. 59-46. Under 3 minutes now to go in the ball game. Weeda somehow gets through traffic there. Gives it off to Jackson. Jackson score it from the left side. 13 for Jackson. 2.5 to play. 61-46. Ridgeline just about has win number 3 sewn up. Nice move. Jab step, step back, Baker 3, won't go, rebounded by Ridgeline. Brenchley to Johnson, and Johnson holds, gives back to Brenchley. Brenchley drives in, gives it off to Tuckett, who kicks out to Johnson for 3. Yep. 22 for Johnson. He leads all scorers. Baker has 21 for Snow Canyon. 1:45 to go. An 18-point lead for Ridgeline. Ball free. Weeda comes up with it. Weeda tries to give it off to Brenchley and turns it over. And it leads to a three-pointer on the other end by Baker. Baker now with 24. 4 3-pointers for Baker. 64-49, a 15-point Ridgeline lead. Weeda finds Brenchley. Brenchley misses, but he's fouled. He'll go to the line with 1:15 on the clock. 1:15 on the clock. Brenchley will go to put this ball game away. The next game, Skyview and Pineview, starting in 25 minutes. Now for Brenchley. He's 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Now 6 of 7. 14 points. Ridgeline going to improve their record to 3-2. Here's a steal. Reaching in and digging it out is Brenchley. Then the look-off pass and a travel. Jackson stopped on a dime, but the dime was on a slippery floor and slid out from under him. He gets the turnover. 12 turnovers for Ridgeline, 16 for Snow Canyon. Weeda right up on Baker now after those 3-pointers. Here's a 3 in the corner from Staley. It's too hard. Rebound fought for. And a foul out front. Tuckett and Brenchley were fighting each other for the rebound, and it bounced off of both of them and right to Snow Canyon. Johnson picks up the foul. That's his second. It's a 16-point ball game with 35 seconds left. And Warner will go to the line. Johnson. That's only his second. Yep, 2 free throws coming for Warner. Misses the first. Warner's played a lot, hasn't scored here in this ball game. In fact, Shakespeare came off the bench to hit a 3 and a bunch of subs for Ridgeline. Tuckett stays out there. They change out everybody else. Junior DeMooney out there. Buck Miller comes out onto the floor. Foster, Johnson, and Joshua Forbush all out there now. Warner hits the second free throw, 65-50. Ridgeline breaks the press. Tuckett to DeMooney. And if Snow Canyon doesn't foul, I don't know that Ridgeline will shoot. Well, what do I know? Foster Johnson with the lay-in. 17-point lead with 5 seconds left. Baker with a 3. He's got 27. And that's going to do it. 67-53, a 14-point win for Ridgeline over Snow Canyon. They moved to 3-2 on the season. Snow Canyon falls to 1-5. Pineview and Skyview in the nightcap coming up next. Thanks for joining us for this game on the Game of the Week.
The Game of the Week on the Valley Channel is brought to you by Icon Health and Fitness, changing lives with fitness innovation. Wendy's of Cache Valley. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Mountain Star Cache Valley Hospital. Together, we're greater. Lewiston State Bank, strong and vibrant for over a century. Cache Valley Electric, a tradition of excellence since 1915. New Smile Dental, experience dental care. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Bring back what you've been missing. LSS Insurance, Bob Larson. Personalized insurance coverage for your family and business. The Book Table, your family store for books, music, toys, art, and much more. Planet Fitness of Logan. No gym intimidation and only $10 a month. Aspen Dental. Get that gorgeous smile you've always wanted. The Logo Shop. We logo stuff. All kinds of stuff. And the Valley Channel, Cache Valley's television station for over 25 years.
We know that we're supposed to come in and get our teeth cleaned twice a year by a dental hygienist such as yourself. But why? If we're brushing at home twice a day and, you know, we're flossing and doing all the good stuff that we're supposed to, why do